Today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough on the Churchill Mk I infantry tank, or as Border Tanks classifies it, a heavy tank. This leads on from the Tier 4 Matilda Mk II and is the Tier 5 British heavy tank. Okay, so let's just talk through the stats of this tank. 700 hit points, this is joint best for Tier 5 with the Churchill Mk III premium tank. So it's really nice hit points. So the armour, 89mm front, it's okay, but it does have some weak spots. 63 sides, wisp-based armour, so it's okay, and 76 rear armour, which is pretty decent. Okay, so let's just talk about the whole armour quickly. It does have some obvious weak spots. The driver's hatch, and also just by the gun, can be quite weak. So what you're going to want to do is angle the armour like this. It means that not only is it harder to penetrate, you get loads more non-penetrating shots on the front armour if you angle it like this, but also the tracks come into play. You soak up a lot of damage on the tracks, therefore saving you loads of hit points, and also the space side armour does help out a lot when it's angled, bounces quite a bit, and just a lot of the shots don't fully pen, therefore don't do damage. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the whole armour. Turret armour, 89mm front and side, 76 rear. Sounds quite decent on the stats, but it is flat armour, therefore it's just really quite bad, and I would say that's where about 70% of the shots pen on this tank. Pretty much everyone just aims for the turret when they want to pen. The only advantage of this turret is the cupola is really quite small, but considering the armor so bad, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so the mobility on this tank, this is obviously quite awful, but then it is a heavy tank, so it's not really that bad. 25.7 speed limit. Acceleration is actually decent on this tank, even though it's 350 horsepower pushing 40 tons. It's actually quite decent, given it is a heavy tank. The Traverse 22, it's okay. I think KV1 is about 20, and Turret Traverse is 34. So it's bad but decent all in one with mobility. Compared to other tanks, it's kind of bad, but for a heavy, it's okay. The view range is 350, signal range 550, not really much of an issue there. The gun on this tank is really what makes this tank excel in my opinion. You also have a variety of gun, about 6 guns, but the best one's 75mm Vickers high velocity, 12.5 to 15.4 rate of fire, 145 penetration, which for tier 5 is really nice. 135 average damage, so once again pretty damn nice. 0.34 to 0.36 accuracy, really nice once again. There's not much more you can say about that. And a 2.3 aim time, so not too bad there either. So the gun is really nice. The only downfall is, and it could be classified a really big one, with this gun it only has a -4 gun depression. Which, if you don't know, the Sherman is about -12, so that really puts it into perspective. It has awful gun depression. You do have to actually play on a completely flat playing ground. You cannot fight on hills particularly well. I mean, you can, but you just have to be really careful. And if you work with the strength of this tank, it's a really nice tank. You can bounce a lot of shots. You never really have an issue of penetration with this 145 pen gun, and as long as you play it right, it's such a nice tank. I'll briefly show you my stats, if I can find them. There we go. 91 battles played, 163 kills, max destroyed in a battle 8, and 528 average experience without premium account. So that kind of shows how this tank can be played. I mean, I'm not a great player by any means, but even with me, the stats are pretty damn good. And I would suggest you can, in tier 5s, you can play this as a traditional heavy. But when it starts to get to tier 6s and 7s, I would play as either the supporter or the slightly further back sniper, because this gun is really nice and it can do a lot of damage. But when it starts to get to higher tiers, you will want to just more snipe with it, because it doesn't have the armour to compete against tier 6s, and certainly not tier 7s. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this tank. There's not much more I can talk about. It's a pretty decent tank. I like it a lot. You can certainly compete with KV1s and T1s. And yep, so if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.